Hello, everyone, and welcome to Capital Corner. I'm your host, Mansoor Qureshi. In recognition of Women's History Month, we have a special episode featuring four remarkable women who have defied stereotypes and left their mark in their respective fields. Their journeys are a testament to the power of determination, bravery, and hard work. And we are excited to learn from their experiences. So sit back, relax, and join us today with our guests, Emily Adams, Miss Linda Dorsey Walker, Miss Uzma Raja, and Nida Mahmoodi. But before we delve into our discussion, let's take a moment to get to know our guests better. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Capital Corner.
Hello.
So
Hello.
let's begin our first question for Emily Adams. So, Miss Adams, can you please tell our viewers a little bit about yourself and also as a woman in your field, what obstacle did you face and how did you overcome them? Did you have any mentors or role models who supported you along the way?
So currently, the way that I participate in community as I perform as a spoken word performer, poet, storyteller. And that's after a long history of theater and television and media and performing. And as to mentors, I have to say that I've been fortunate to have many, one of whom was the Native American medicine woman from the um, Seneca Wolf clan that I studied with long ago, who was in many ways a teacher and a mentor. And the most important, she was one of the women who had, as a child, was taken by a religion into the Indian schools. And those kids were, as you know, if you've seen the media, lots of terrible things happened there. She survived. But one of the things that she instilled in me was use your voice. Use your voice for people who don't have the power or the will to speak. Use your voice. It matters.
Perfect. Miss Linda Dorsey, can you please tell us a little bit about yourself and also, as a woman in your field, what obstacle did you face and how did you overcome them?
Absolutely. Well, I'm Linda Dorsey Walker, and I'm originally from Baltimore, Maryland, but I've not always lived here. I came up in Baltimore right after the civil rights era. It was in the heart of the civil rights era. And I was in the very first elementary school to be integrated in Baltimore City, Board of Education. Thereafter, I went on to integrate several other schools before I got out of high school. And in high school, I was the only African American in my homeroom class for 3 straight years. And all of the other students and teachers were all Jewish because it was in a section of Baltimore City that was mostly Jewish. And so after that, I went on, determined that I was going to continue doing some interesting things. I went on to become one of the very first women to attend the very prestigious Williams College in upstate Massachusetts. It had been founded in the 1700s, and it had only had African Americans there for a few years. And then I went on to become one of the first women. So I came from a long time of integration, integrating a number of different programs in schools. And that made me interested in going into not just healthcare administration, which is my field, but also politics as well.
So, thank you so much. So, Ms. Shazia Shah, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and also tell us what kind of obstacle you faced and how you overcome those obstacles?
So I was born back home in Pakistan. I came here when I was 13 years old. I did a little bit of middle school and then high school here. Um, there were many obstacles growing up in this country for an immigrant's child. My parents had to work hard, just like any other immigrant. They would come. Everybody has the same story, I think. Like they came here with $100 bill, and then they built this and they built that. My both of my parents worked very hard. They raised both my brother and sister, my brother and I, in this community. We belong to Islamic Society of Baltimore. They made sure that we stuck to our roots, and we manage our lives being in Baltimore County as an American. So a lot of us and a lot of our parents made sure that we were, like we were stuck to the Pakistani community, so that we don't lose our roots. But my parents did not do that. They wanted me to be as much part of an American community that as much as we were belonging to Pakistan. Um, just few years back, I started to get involved in politics. A couple of my friends actually asked me to come along because I have been doing a lot of volunteer work for many years. Sunday schools, soup kitchens, and all of that. So it was never talked about because I didn't want to say that I'm volunteering and I'm this and I'm that. So I was always in the background. But a couple of people started to say that what, our women should show up. Our women should speak up and tell the world our stories. So in order for you to do that, you need to come into the politics. You need to make sure that Pakistani, South Asian, or us, we are recognized in this community because we are part of this community, Baltimore County, 100%. So last year in 2022's elections, I ran for a delegate and I ran for Central Committee. I did not do too well for the delegate, but I did pretty good, almost 7,000 votes. And now I am part of Baltimore
Uh,
County Democratic Party Central Committee. And Miss Linda, right here, she's my chair, vice chair, I'm sorry. And she's the one who nominated me for secretary. And with heavy voting in within the committee, I was nominated as a secretary for the executive board. So that's my journey so far. It's gonna go further, right, Miss Linda?
Yes, my
Well,
role is to
that's
open
that's
doors
that's
for
very
women.
impressive. That's very impressive. And I'm proud that we have a Pakistani American. They are part of politics. And I also want to say one thing: when there is a will, there is a way. So it seems like you really want to uh, try to achieve your goal and get into a politics. So good
Most
luck to you.
definitely. And Miss Lee Adams is now mentoring me as well. So I have two very strong women in Baltimore County who are backing me up. So sky's the limit, ladies, right?
Well,
Yes,
congratulations. You have a great
Thank you.
mentor too.
I
So
do.
very,
I
very
do.
excited about that. Awesome. Perfect. So let's go to Miss Uzma Raja. Miss Uzma Raja, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and also like what kind of obstacle did you face and how did you overcome those obstacles?
Sure. And thank you very much for the opportunity to speak and
Thank you
tell
for coming.
something about myself. In fact, I originally from Pakistan. And back home, my journey started when I was like 20 years old, and I started working as a CEO of the, very well-renowned institute where we were keep on grooming kids. Then when we migrated almost like 21 years back, we migrated to America with my four young kids. And then the hardship really started right from that day, because we have so many leisures back home, but here everything, the environment, everything, the language barrier, the religious, cultural difference, everything was there. So, uh, because my aim was to stand up and show how powerful we ladies are, because I was working back home as well. So I stood fast with my husband and I worked at least like 14, 15 hours a day, 7 days a week initially, for initial like 7, 8 years. There was no one who can help us. There was no one who can guide us. Then eventually, after learning from different, our own expenses and hardships and everything, then we decided to step into the industry where we can help our community, especially ladies, female. And since I had an experience of entrepreneurship, so I decided to work as a lead. Then I applied as a driving instructor, which I was just, I believe I was the first woman, Pakistani woman, and as a bilingual instructor to teach the ladies. And that was back in 2005. Then after that, I got approved by the interpreter in the different languages. I helped my community and I got my license as a real estate agent as well. So I would just keep on pursuing into the different fields, and in this way I've been keep on helping a lot of our community women, teach them, help them, guide them, and guide them towards to the straight direction where they can be a strong woman, stand on their own feet, and then take care of their families.
Wow, that's very impressive, Miss Raja. And I'm so excited that I'm actually it's an honor for me that I'm here with all of
Thank
you,
you.
like all of great women here. It's very very motivational. So let's go to Miss Mahmoodi. Um, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and also tell us what obstacle did you face and how did you overcome those obstacles? We cannot hear you for some reason. I think your mic is off.
Sorry about that. Assalamu
Yeah.
alaikum and greetings of peace to everyone on the show. My name is Namika Zaman Mahmoodi, and I'm a friend and relative and good family member with Miss Shazia Shah, who invited me to join the program today. It's an honor for me and to meet all of you inspiring women and everything that you do, and honored to be on the show with you, Mr. Mansoor Qureshi. I just wanted to, join this occasion to applaud women all across the state and across the country and even in the world for National Women's Month. Of course, I identify as a woman, as a Muslim woman, Pakistani woman, and I personally feel very strongly about representation. Representation matters. And just like we have people representing us in the government and we have people representing us all over the United States, we as women of color, women from Asian background, Pakistani background, we need to rise up. And so my background is in mental health. I am a licensed clinical professional counselor, and I've been doing this for about 5 to 6 years. I'm also a career counselor. I work with refugees and asylees who come into the country, helping them to get jobs, helping them to get into careers and employment. I've worked in the nonprofit sector for almost 7 years. I currently work for the International Rescue Committee, which is an international nonprofit organization. And my job is really just what I've been saying, to help people have a way to take care of themselves so they can be independent, so they can, take care of their families. And I think that's what the American dream is all about. We come to this country as Pakistanis. I'm an immigrant myself. I came here as a 3 month old, but that still makes me an immigrant. um, even though, of course, I identify as an American and a Marylander and a Pakistani. But I'm I feel very strongly about applauding the women who are in the public sector, who are in social work, like myself, because we need to speak out. We need to be able to represent our religion, our faith, our customs for all people, but especially people of color, because some of us don't have a voice. And what we as women need to do is we need to stand up for those who have a voice and give them a voice. They have something inside of them, but they just need someone to help them get it out. And so that's what I do in therapy, and that's what I do in my nonprofit work. Thank you.
Thank you. Miss Mahmoodi. It's very impressive, and I'm so excited right now because I'm also a Pakistani American, a proud Pakistani American. I'm really glad to see there are a lot of Pakistani American women. They are working to help Americans, refugees, hospitals. They're doing a lot of good things. They're entrepreneurs. They're scientists. So glad to see everything. So let's talk to Miss Emily Adams. You are a motivational person. You are mentoring a lot of people. How do you maintain your motivation and continue to push boundaries in your career? What advice would you offer to women who feel demotivated or stuck in their current job?
Well, I'm a survivor of serial abuse, and making it out alive was the marker for me. So after that, nobody could ever silence me. And I remember being an 11-year-old girl, and I did a Black American history project in the third grade, and the superintendent of schools sent me a beautiful set of reproductions, one of which was a fake parchment of the Constitution. And even though I was a tiny kid, I would try and read that fancy writing in those words. And I grew up in an environment where I didn't have any rights as a female, as a person born to that culture. But around me, there were wonderful people from this immigrant community, this new American community, not the house I came from. But between watching these wonderful families that I wish I had come from and reading the Constitution, I knew that if I made it to 18 years old, that Constitution would give me the same rights to build a life like these other wonderful families around me. And my motivation never changed. And so I perform these words and I mentor people to speak, but mostly I'm a performer and I'm an activist because women are humans and we're covered by the Constitution in this country. And we must always move forward or somebody will take that away from us. And we know that today in ways that we shouldn't, and we will keep pushing forward. And that does not mean that we depart from culture in the best of the traditions. In fact, I heard a great quote the other day where somebody said, traditions are just traditions. That's peer pressure from dead people, right? So, and I laughed, I was a kid and I laughed so hard because there's wonderful richness that come from cultures. Believe me, I did ancestry. I'm 17 things. Beautiful tapestry of humanity and this unique tapestry called the Constitution that we're all part of in this country. I made it out of that place alive, so I kind of never lose my motivation.
Wow, that's very impressive, and I like. I mean, your sentence "traditions are traditions." Yeah, I agree on that for sure. So let's go to Miss Dorsey. Miss Dorsey, my question to you is: this imposter syndrome is a common experience among women, where they question their abilities and feel like they don't belong. Have you experienced this? And if yes, how did you overcome it?
I've had people try to put that on me. If you can imagine being in the first group of women to attend an all white, all Ivy League male school, you had many people who wanted to objectify you and make you feel that you couldn't do what you know in your mind you're capable of doing. I made up my mind from the outset, I'm going to prove them wrong. I came from a family in which both my mom and my dad were chemistry majors. Both of them were college graduates. People assumed something different about me because they looked at me and assumed I was coming from a very different place. I got to Williams College up in Massachusetts, one of the outstanding colleges here in the U.S., and I decided that I was not only going to finish in 4 years with a double degree, I finished in 3 years and then went on to grad school. And so after that, I made up my mind. I'm not going to be held back. I'm not going to believe the line that people are telling me that as a woman, I can't do certain things. As an African American, I can't do certain things. Even though as a child, yeah, all those horrible things you see in the civil rights films, beaten up, spat on, called names, hosed down, all those things happened to me.
Perfect. That's great answer. I'd like to go with Miss Uzma Raja. Miss Uzma Raja, I mean, we belong to Pakistani culture, the South Asian culture, um, where they questions like women's abilities and feel like they don't belong. Have you personally experienced this? And if yes, how did you overcome it?
Right here or back home,
Both.
like overall, yeah. In
Overall, like
fact,
like here too, we are in America
yeah,
right now, so let's talk about America.
right,
I mean,
right,
did you find
right.
anybody
Yeah,
question your ability because you're a woman and they want you to sit
when
at home and
yes.
cook food only?
Y- Uh,
I'm sorry, I just
in
wanted to
fact,
ask.
when no, 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 it's good, it's good. When like I think in my intro I told you like I started working at the age of 20 when I was back home in Pakistan. So that question is out of the way that I have to sit and home and cook the food. But yeah, when we migrated here initially, honestly, like with four young kids and being a Pakistani woman, there was so many people. They're saying, "Oh, how can you manage? With your four young kids?" And my youngest one was like 2.5 years old, and the oldest one was around like 12 years old. It's then they would keep on, like there was a language barrier. Everything was there, and then And then the discouragement from the behind, like, hey, how can you do it? Pakistani women, they don't do. You have to take care of your kids because you have to put them onto the straight path, you know. So I decided not to listen to anyone. The capabilities or the abilities which I have to go along with those. Then initially, as I mentioned, that I started working hard to get my I did my Bachelor of Education from back home, so I got my degrees from here in early childhood, and I forgot to mention that I also worked as a daycare, the lead teacher, and got the assistant director license from the state here, from the Maryland. So I started working and started learning along with working like 16 hours, 14 hours a day, and then keep on continuing my journey till to date. And then, yes, so many people were just keep on saying, don't do that. You cannot do that. You cannot achieve it because you have so many big barriers. And I said, okay, I'll show you. I'll show you. Because if the men can do it, the women can also definitely do if we follow the right path.
Definitely, and man and woman, they are obviously equal. So if men can do that, women can do that
Yeah.
too. 100%. I agree with you.
Yes.
Let's go to Ms. Shazia Shah. Shazia, I wanted to ask you this thing. Then, have you experienced any discrimination because of your hijab? And if yes, how did you overcome it?
All the time. Just the other day, I actually posted on my social media that someone asked me to go back to my country, and I actually had a really nice conversation with them. I said, "But I don't know anyone there. Where am I going to live? What am I going to eat? Where am I going to go?" And so it was. I mean, like I shouldn't say that you get used to it because that should not be an option. But yes, we do get discriminated every single day. You're standing in front of a line at a grocery store, and I think Namika, you're also a hijabi, so you would experience that too until you open up your mouth and you let them know that you can speak and understand English. With your hijab, you do get um, asked or treated differently. You ask really weird questions. Like, did your husband ask you to put that on? No, that was really my choice. With my hijab, actually, my daughter asked me to put it on because she started when she was 6 years old. So she's my hero.
Wow. All right. Same question to you, Miss Mahmoodi, and also I would like to know, what do you have to say to the women who are wearing hijab, because they, sometimes face, or they're facing, or sometimes they faced in the past a lot of discrimination because of their hijab. So do you want to say anything to them, like how to communicate when they hear that kind of taunting remarks from people? How to
Sure.
answer that? How to communicate well?
Sure. What I wanted to say, first of all, Jazakallah khair to Shazia and to Brother Mansoor. I was not expecting to be, given this honor to be on the show with all these, rock stellar, game changing ladies. I'm still quite young. I'm just 37. Just getting my, I guess you can say, get my fingers dipped into the world of social work and activism. But wearing a hijab and being someone who is labeled quote unquote an hijabi, this is a journey that started with me when I was just 19 years old. I didn't always grow up wearing the hijab, but what I did want to say is that what's inspirational, the reason why I decided to wear a hijab personally in my journey was I wanted people to see that I love my faith. I love being Muslim. And so when I wanted people to look at me, I wanted them to see that glow that came and that light that came from wearing a hijab. It was because I really do. I'm proud of where I'm come from, and I'm proud of my culture, and I'm proud of my religion, and I'm proud of my country because I'm an American citizen as well. And you can be everything. I think the lens that we have in this country, that you have to pick and choose, that you have to pick to be an American, or you have to pick to be a Muslim, or you have to pick to be a Pakistani. You can be all three, or even more. You can choose whatever you want to choose. That's the beauty of being in America. That's
Mhm.
why we have Lady Liberty. That's why we have, the fundamental rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's what it means to be American. And for me, that's how I feel. I feel that this is my pursuit to happiness through my faith. And I truly love my faith, and I love, I love God. And I feel like when you love God and when you're God fearing, this is for me personally, of course, and it gets me a little bit emotional. But the truth is that you'll always be watched over, and I think that that is something that's very powerful. And so, I think alhamdulillah means like great, thanks to God that we're living in this country and we have these avenues of communication like talk shows or newsletters or social media. As bad as social media gets a rap, Instagram and Facebook have are great platforms if we use them properly. And we watch ourselves and we take care of our mental health, because I'm going to speak. I'm that advocate for mental health, of course. So take care of your mental health, make sure you eat well, make sure you sleep well. It's advice I'm giving to myself before anybody else. Don't get caught up in working all the time, but you got to have those balance, because burnout is real and we all know
Yeah.
it, ladies.
So what I understand from you is don't get distracted. Whatever you have to do, you have to do. Don't let people bother you or disturb you. Miss Emily Adams, do you want to say anything? Do you
I
want to add
do.
anything?
I want to say something to Miss Mahmoodi. Did I say it right? Miss Mahmoodi.
Yes. Yes.
Do
Okay.
not underestimate how many lives you change every single solitary day. And the number of years on the earth have nothing to do with how you are the rock star at a particular moment, at a particular time, saying a particular word in the lives of a person. Never let any set of measurements make you think that you are not doing that every day.
I
That's
appreciate that, Miss
that's
Adam.
me telling you.
It's getting inspirational and motivational. I mean, I'm very, very impressed. I'm very excited that I'm talking to you, and it's an honor for me. I'm telling you this, that I'm in front of all of you. Linda, do you want to add anything?
Yes, I do. What we just heard from Miss Mahmoodi is one of the new young voices that I've spent my life now for many decades trying to bring to the forefront. Um, my role, I always saw, is to go ahead to open doors for others to follow. And now that's what I'm spending I've been elected 8 times to the Central Committee since 1994, when I ran to be the first woman and first African American elected in Baltimore County. I helped to create the fourth district that had led to the first minorities to be elected now for the last 5 terms. And I just worked with the Justice Department to get a brand new state district opened, created, which is District 11A. But Shazia knows that, and she's been working with me on this, that one of the big things I'm trying to promote is, I don't know if you can see this, four more for Baltimore County. It's an initiative that I'm chairing because I recognize that Baltimore County has to change. When our current system of government was put into place in 1955, we had no new Americans living in Baltimore County. There were only a handful of African Americans that lived in Baltimore County. There were no women that dared thought of running for political office. There were no young people running for office. None of these groups wanted a seat or were allowed to have a seat at the table. So now, 68 years after 1955, when we created 7 councilmanic seats in Baltimore County, we've gone from a population of 350,000 to 860,000. And now we have all of you and all the other new American groups that have showed up, and everyone, including all the additional African Americans and other people who are disabled and so forth, all are saying we want a seat at the table. Right now in Baltimore County, we have no women for the first time in 3 terms, not one woman for the next 4 years to serve on our local government. It's shameful. We have one minority who's going to be serving. Our county is 53% female. It's 50% minorities. That's all the new Americans plus African Americans. So what I'm trying to do is create an opportunity for women to fill those 4 seats. And we need new young voices because we have no one under the age of 55 that's on the county council. We need new young faces, new young voices. We need more women, more minorities to do it. And so, what it requires, and Shazia has been helping me with this quite a bit, and others, to collect 10,000 signatures so that we can put this on the ballot and we can change our history, our whole direction for the next 68 years in
Yes.
Baltimore County by opening that door by having 4 more districts and going from 7 districts to 11.
Wow, so there are a lot of opportunities for women in Baltimore County. So, listeners, we must support. We come out and must support Linda for her vision, and there is an opportunity for there, and we would like to see women, maybe the next president of USA too. Hopefully one day. So, keep rocking, keep doing good things. We are definitely with you. So, Emily, I'd like to ask you this question, then how do you envision the future of politics in America, and what role do you anticipate women playing in that future?
Well,
Are there
running,
any exciting developments or trends that you are eagerly anticipating right now?
I see if we want to solve the world, women have to run it. That's number one. It's very simple.
I
Mhm.
agree.
We have to correct the math. There are actually, you can watch children at play. They do studies on this. And the difference between the way women, females, or female identified, even children, create community and solve problems is there was no precedent for that information when they started doing this research, and which is amazing because they could have gone to any matrilineal culture like the Native American culture or the Jewish culture, indigenous Jewish culture, and they could see how women construct culture. There are many examples of matrilineal systems that work war free on the planet, but the people who have the money have paid for the stuff that's written in our books, unfortunately. So we need a whole new generation of researchers. And I'll tell you something fascinating that gives me hope for the future. In 2019, I heard an NPR show where a woman who was a researcher from NIH said that NIH was no longer going to fund any research where the data came in unless it used both genders of animals. So for all this time, we've been listening to science, and I love science. I ran a NASA training program. I love me some science, and I'm also an artist. So I'm really dangerous. Both sides of my brain work. But this researcher said, it is not science for a whole population of beings unless you have both genders in the research that you're doing. But that wasn't until 2019, because now there are lots of women in research and lots of science and lots of women running organizations and agencies and counties, etc. And so the hope for me is that we did everything we were supposed to do as teachers and mentors, and we put women with vision who are, as the song goes, unstoppable, in positions to make something new. And actually, I just wrote a poem on this that I performed for a Baltimore Democrat called Pledge of Illusion, We This People. Even has a pledge in it to change for women of every kind, to say how we want to form the future. And I would, something everyone should hear, because we, by our own words, by our own vision, and by our own push together, will form a new path. And it doesn't matter how it was done before. I think the fear a lot of male people have is that when women run the world, we're going to do it like they did and treat them like we were treated. That is couldn't be.
No.
We are 180 degrees from that because we know better.
Agreed.
Well, I completely agree on that. Anybody wants to say anything for Miss Lee? All
I
right,
just
so let's go with
I
Miss
just want
Shazi.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
I just wanted to say one thing. I just
sure.
want to thank everyone for being able to, showcase all the amazing work you do. And I wanted to congratulate all the women here because it's very inspirational to be around women, especially, Shazia is a good family member of mine. And then meeting you all ladies, Uzma, Linda, and Emily, I'm in awe of all the wonderful work you do. And I hope one day we'll cross paths in the future.
Yeah, definitely. So, Ms. Shazia Shah, my question to you is, what role do you anticipate that Pakistani, South Asian, and Muslim women playing in American politics? Are there any exciting developments or trends that you are eagerly anticipating? Ms. Shazia, you there? We cannot hear you. Your mic is off. Ms.
Let's see.
Shazia, we cannot hear you. I think she was disconnected. So
Mhm.
let's ask this question with Ms. Uzma. I mean, what role do you anticipate Pakistani, South Asian, and Muslim women playing in American politics?
In fact, as per Shazia, I know her. So the Pakistani and the Muslim women, they have been keep on playing a vital role into the politics now, since introducing themselves as a strong Muslim women, and the women who can stand next to the men and create the you can say the, like, break the milestones
Sure.
and make the examples.
Yeah. Ms. Shazia Shah, would you like to answer my questions?
I'm sorry, I've been going in and out. My internet is kind of acting up. Um, I did not hear your question because
Yeah,
I.
so my question was, what, since you are in politics and we are proud of it, what role, I mean, do you see right now for Pakistani or a Muslim woman playing in American politics? Are there any exciting developments or trends that you are eagerly anticipating?
Actually, I think since last year we kind of woke up that sleeping tiger. Our community is has been mobilized. This was the first election that I've actually seen people, women and men, working at the polls, coming out and supporting our candidates, supporting us women, two women candidate from a Pakistani background, supporting both of us. And there was another candidate running for Senate who was also from Pakistan, supporting him as well. So we are waking up, and I want our women, our children to come out and start thinking that this is our country, this is our future. And if we want to be heard, we got to get up and speak first. We can't sit in our living rooms and talk politics. We got to get involved in politics. We got to show up at town halls. We got to show up at county meetings and, things like that. We got to wake up and work.
Perfect. Would you like to say anything, Miss Mahmoodi here? Or anybody wants to add anything?
No, I just wanted to say thank you again, and I do appreciate being a part of this effort. And inshallah, God willing, I get to meet all you wonderful women. And
Sure.
I wanted to thank Shazi again for inviting me, and it's good to meet you, Mr. Mansoor.
Yeah, so
Well,
finally, I have a final question right now. Let's go to Miss Dorsey. What message would you like to impart to young girls and women who aspire to pursue career in your field? What quality do you think are indispensable for success, and what should they keep in their mind as they navigate their journey?
well, as a career, I worked in healthcare administration, and I also did some international healthcare consulting and helped to open the newest hospital that's just outside of Ibadan, Nigeria. But outside of that, relative to politics, please help this effort that I'm chairing now. Get involved, contact Shazia or myself, get the petition forms, go among the people that you know, wherever they are, as long as they are Baltimore County voters, get their signatures to change history, because not only are we going to have 4 more opportunities for people to run for elected office at the county level, they will each be able to name each 57 more people to boards and commission, the planning board, the women's commission, the liquor board, the you name it, board of education, police accountability board. So that's almost 230 new positions where people will become commissioners. Some of the people on this call might end up being a commissioner for the rest of their lives because those 4 more districts were created. So I need your help. I want to make this my last political initiative. I want to be able to get people to galvanize, recognize there are all these pockets of minorities all over the county now, especially up around Padonia International School and over in Woodlawn and so forth. Get these signatures so that we can get this question as a referendum question on the ballot next year, and then create the change. This is what Barack Obama said: create the change you want.
All right. So, Emily Adams, what's Women's History Month means to you, and what is your final message to all young women who are listening to you and getting inspired from whatever you're saying?
Um, well, get moving. To say to young women, get moving. Democracy is not a gift, an entitlement, a reward, or a prize. Democracy is an outcome, a result, and a product. We work
Yes.
at democracy every day, or we do not have democracy. Get moving.
You're here.
Perfect. Ms. Shazia Shah, what is your final message on this day, and what Women's History Month means to you?
Women History Month means that I'm being recognized. Out of 11 months, let's do it. I shouldn't be just recognized for 1 month. I work 12 months a day, 365 days a week, and 24/7. I take care of my home, I take care of my business, and I take care of my community now. So it means that I'm glad that I'm being recognized, but there needs to be more work done towards me as a woman.
Perfect. What about Miss Mahmoodi? What's Women's History Month means to you, and what is your final message to all young women?
Um, I would say my final message to all women, and for me, Women's Month means that it's a chance for us to be highlighted, but it's not the only chance. So this is just a small blip in the radar that is the wonderful things that we all do as young, strong women who are trying, just women in general. We're women who are trying to make a difference. And it can be in the classroom, it can be in the courtroom, it can be in politics, it can be in healthcare. Whatever your space is, it can be in the laboratory or it can be in space. You go and achieve what you want to achieve, because I have a 9-year-old daughter, or a daughter who's about to be 9, and I want her to know that the world is her oyster. She can do whatever she wants if she wants to, and no one should ever make her feel like she can't do anything. That's what inspires me, my daughter, my 9-year-old daughter. She inspires me every day. And also all the women who are on this call. But, what I do and why I work so hard is for my kids. We want to create a better world for our children. That's all I have to say.
That's perfect. Awesome. It's a great message. So, finally, Miss Uzma Raja, what's Women's History Month means to you, and what is your final message to all young women?
Yes, the final message to the young women is the sky is the limit. If I can at this age can do a lot of work, and you guys are still young, you have a fresh blood, energy, and a lot to do. So come on, move forward and get succeeded.
Yes.
Any more message before I
Yeah.
close the program?
Just one thing. In order to support this effort and create the change that you ladies want, visit our website, VOTE, the number 4, more, MORE.org. Voteformore.org. Sign up to be a volunteer, to be a petition circulator. Feel free to make a donation if you'd like, so long as you are a U.S. citizen, because only U.S. citizens can donate. And so long as you are a registered voter in Maryland, you can be a petition circulator. But to sign the petition, you must be a voter in Baltimore County to change the charter in Baltimore County, and then run for office. Run for office, or say, I want to be one of those commissioners, one of the 230 of them.
Perfect. That sounds great. And we are with you. We love your vision, and hopefully, our viewers will support your cause. Thank you again for joining us on Capital Corner.
Thank
Um,
you.
Viewers, we hope our guests have inspired you with their stories and insight. Let's continue to honor and and uplift women every day, not just during Women's History Month. It's every day. So please remember to like, comment, and share this video, and stay tuned for more empowering conversation. Thank you everyone for watching, and thank you everyone for coming. Thank you
Thank
so much.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You are watching Capital TV Washington, the best South Asian TV channel in North America.